Go on.
Conventional physicists, it turns out, largely believe that physics alone can explain everything. The grand design, as it goes, will become apparent if we can only work out the math. The mystery of being will be understood through the study of subatomic particles and the tiny fractions of moments that unfurled immediately after the Big Bang. One chapter in Hawking's book is actually named The Theory of Everything. Really? Everything? Not just physics stuff, but everything else, too?
Okay,
Stop.
I think we all know that he's massively overstating the case there, Mike Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The
definitely.
theory of everything is simply a name given to this sort of holy grail of physics, which would explain all the laws of nature in one theory.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean a theory of everything, including philosophy, for example.
Yeah. Kitch, are you got anything to say there, or are you alive? All right, I think that's enough.
I can't brain.
Okay, we'll carry on.
I find that a bit hard to believe, given that a typical quantum physicist probably doesn't even know what's in a hot dog, much less the entire universe. But please excuse my attempt at humor. Just so you know, I'm taking this seriously. Let's consider the definition of physics itself. The Collins English Dictionary defines physics as the branch of science concerned with the properties of matter and energy and the relationships between them. It is based on mathematics and traditionally includes mechanics, optics, electricity, and magnetism, acoustics, and heat. There is no dictionary that defines physics as the study of all that is. I've checked. The very idea that physics accounts for everything actually seems, well, a bit arrogant. But that's not new in the field of...
Yeah, I think we've already covered this, but physics...
No one is saying that it explains everything. It explains everything in the now.
Okay, Marty, you're breaking up a little bit there.
But I can complete it.
The natural world has all the answers about the natural world. All the answers that we know of.
Yeah.
And those we don't know of, well, either we will never know them, or this study will lead to us finding them.
Mm-hmm.
Physics either. Top physicists have a long history of thinking they had it all figured out. There is nothing new to be discovered in physics now, uttered Lord Kelvin in 1894. He continued, all that remains is more and more precise measurement. The God particle isn't a particle. Stephen Hawking is a brilliant man in his field and probably a very sincere and well-meaning human.
Yeah, that was completely random, that statement there, wasn't it?
God,
Yeah, that kind of came out of left field.
First of all, if he's talking about the Higgs boson, yes, it is a particle, in the same sense that any quantum particle is.
Yeah. Okay, let's
It just comes,
Human being on top
right
of
out of left field.
Yeah.
that. But as brilliant as he may be in the world of physics, he has misunderstood the boundaries of one particular approach to the search for truth. To say philosophy is dead is to disavow the big questions philosophy seeks to answer, questions that cannot be asked through the study of physics alone. What?
Well, no shit. That's all I've got to say there. You know, there's questions physics can't answer, and there's questions philosophy can't answer. This isn't really a revelation as such.
What is consciousness? Is there a God? What happens after death? How do we know what we know? What does it mean to exist? Can love
These are
be measured?
philosophical questions.
How does consciousness interact with matter
can't
and energy?
answer them. Physics
For
doesn't
what
ask
purpose,
these
if then,
questions.
are we here? Are these questions now considered so unimportant that the entire branch of knowledge-seeking under which they appear is to be discarded?
No.
Yes, by physicists. Because they're not in that field.
Yes.
Idiot.
It's such a shame Lundy isn't here, because I think he'd be hitting his head off the walls right now with this crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
By conventional physicists? Or is it that physicists believe firing up the nearest super collider will magically reveal their desperately sought God particle, which will answer all the questions for?
And guess what happened? You can obviously tell when this video was
They
made.
found it.
Yes. So do you honestly think Mike Adams will just take this video back and say, I was wrong, folk?
No, he'll probably say that it's a lie. The Illuminati made it up.
It's a false flag.
Yeah.
Everything else.
So yeah,
For
it's the fact it's a
The Copenhagen
GMO.
interpretation, remember, provides a convenient exit for avoiding tackling these questions at all.
No,
Shut up
it
and
doesn't.
talk.
Does he know what the God particle actually is supposed to explain?
No, I'm willing to bet he doesn't have a clue.
No, and for the record, it has to do with why matter has mass,
Yeah, that's all it's about, really.
and it's called the God particle, supposedly because someone who thought it was difficult to find referred to it as the goddamn particle, but apparently that got censored.
Yeah, it was actually someone writing a book about the whole search for it. And Peter Higgs and many other physicists have come out strongly against that name of it.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
really hate it being called that.
But
You
don't
can
ask
see why.
anything too spooky. The fact that the ever so mysterious God particle is even named the God particle is, by itself, an enlightening commentary on the disappointing degree of delusion now running rampant through the conventional physics community.
No, we just...
Irony.
Oh, jeez.
I think we just broke the irony meter.
Yes.
The God particle name is wrong on both counts. It isn't God, and it's not even a particle.
Marty.
It is a particle, you fucking retard.
And no one suggested it was a god. Oh, for
It's just a nickname for what was at the time a hypothetical particle.
yeah.
We've found it.
And you can, like, as we keep saying, you can go to the guy who proposed this particle and ask him about the name God particle, and he hates it being called that. He is very vocal that it shouldn't be called that at all.
In fact, the branch of physics known as particle physics doesn't study particles at all.
Marty.
Actually, yeah, that's why it's called particle physics, you dumb shit.
This is just getting unreal, this.
Is he actually trying to say that because we have learned that particles aren't tiny little balls or something, but that they have wave-like properties, then therefore they're not particles?
I think so.
Like, even C60 could be given a wavelength.
Ah! Shut the... Look, it's this simple. We see this phenomenon in nature. We label it particles, okay? Then we study it further, and we discover that, hey, these things were different than we initially thought. That doesn't change the label we put on it.
As any practical physicist will readily admit, every time they look for particles, they only see vibrating waves of energy, or
Marty again, I think.
I'm looking for something to hang myself with.
And I'm getting cancer now, I think.
I want to watch Spirit Science right now.
Oh, jeez. Kitch, please say something. Myself and Marty are dying here.
I've got a bottle of rum beside me.
He's just saying,
Open.
How far into this are we?
this, we're 7 minutes in. Marty, this whole, like, they're vibrating things of energy. is what the hell is he on about or misinterpreting? Or shall we just play and CV explains? Yes, I think we'll play and CV explains this.
Flickering hints of structured probability waves that vanish in billionths of a second. What does seem to be found behind the curtain of so-called particle physics is, to the great surprise of many scientists, the ever-mysterious issue of consciousness. Consciousness is what appears to collapse waves of probability into seemingly real particles.
No!
You know, the interesting thing here is that that could be one way to interpret the Copenhagen interpretation. That the observer causes the wave function collapse. Yeah. And that it needs to be a conscious observer. All you have to do is add that. Because frankly, if it's not a conscious observer, then no one knows about it, so it doesn't matter. So that is a valid way to interpret, well, a valid interpretation of an interpretation. Mm-hmm. But that's all it is. And guess what? You just said that it was wrong.
In our seemingly real world. Without consciousness, the observer, there's nothing to translate the apparent laws of physics into observable, testable events in the first place. And at a deeper level, there is exciting evidence now emerging which hints that consciousness is physics, in a way similar to E equals mc squared, which of course explains that energy is matter, just in a different form.
Wait, what does he mean consciousness is physics? Yeah. Is he going Matrix?
He's going Deepak. That's where he's going.
Yeah, that's Deepak-ese. And by the way, energy, did he say that energy is matter? Actually, I would say it's the other way around. But E equals mc square is called an energy-matter equivalence.
Yeah.
It's not that energy and matter are the same thing. They are equivalent. They're related to each other through the constant, the speed of light squared. Mm-hmm. And yes, Gothic Master, I also love Einstein.
Let's carry on.
What is increasingly clear in all this is that physics cannot be fully explained without taking consciousness into consideration. And that's a rabbit hole most conventional physicists don't wish to explore, at least not when their careers and academic reputations are on the line.
Yeah. Why would they? Of course their careers are going to be on the line if they chase that stuff. Oh.
And the reason their careers will be on the line if they go there is that this has actually been studied. Nothing significant has been found. The entire field of parapsychology has had 150 years, and it has produced exactly nothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We are all just robots.
What?
Stephen Hawking does not believe in consciousness.
Actually, I'm a living organism.
Yeah.
Nor free will. He quite literally believes we are all just deterministic robot machines who behave as if we were biological puppets driven by predictable and mechanistic biochemical impulses. Here's what he says. Though we feel that we can choose what we do, our understanding of the molecular basis of biology shows that biological processes are governed by the laws of physics and chemistry, and therefore are as determined as the orbits of the planets. Recent experiments in neuroscience support the view that it is our physical brain, following the known laws of science, that determines our actions, and not some agency that exists outside those laws.
Correct.
And there you have it. Hawking stating that he utterly denies the existence of the mind or consciousness.
No, that is not what I get from that quote at all.
What?
In any way. That is... You have to have such an incredibly creative interpretation of that.
Yeah, you have to make shit
Basically
up.
just jumped the shark.
What he said is perfectly compatible with... what's it called? Is it called compatibilism? That you accept determinism, but you still accept free will as well within the confines of it. Personally, I don't, but I think free will is a useless concept. We're talking about philosophy, and Stephen Hawking is a physicist. I'm gonna kill this guy. No, not literally, but
no.
I
You need to get some booze, Marty.
Or a connection with spirit, or anything other than the deterministic clockwork of biochemical determinism that he calls our brain. Hawking is not alone in this bizarre belief. Of course, the vast majority of conventional scientists and physicists also believe that human beings are mere biochemical robots with no souls, no consciousness, and no free will. Francis Crick, the co-discoverer of DNA, said that awareness was nothing more than a feeling generated in the brain.
Kitch.
And he was not a neuroscientist nor a philosopher, so who cares?
Yeah, Kitch, you've got a bit of knowledge about Francis Crick, do you?
Exactly.
Kitch? Are you there, Kitch? Oh, sorry, yes you are.
I don't know too much about Francis Crick, but I know a little bit about Watson.
Yeah. Okay, anyway... basically, like, Francis Crick has got no...
Even if Crick did hold that belief, he's probably right. He's, as Madam said, he's wrong.
Yeah. He knows a lot about biochem and DNA and all that, but he'll be plain wrong on a lot of other things.
Hello?
Yes, Kitch, I don't think you can hear us.
I think sometimes Skype's crashed again.
I think there's a delay.
There's a delay, Kitch. Can you please hang up and rejoin us when you get that message? We'll carry on.
He says, you, your joys and sorrows, your memories and your ambitions, your sense of personal identity and free will, are in fact no more than the behavior of a vast assembly of nerve cells and their associated molecules. He wrote that in his book, The Astonishing Hypothesis.
Stop.
But if
I would just like to say that, first of all, I never thought I would use this to refer to what a scientist has said, but Captain Kirk says, what does God need with a starship?
Yeah. How do you interpret that to saying we're robots?
And what's the relevance? What does this have to do with the subject at hand?
Yeah, and I'll just take this minute to say, if there's anyone in the audience that wants to know more about this whole robots and intelligence thing, listen to last week's show. We had a guest who explains all this really well. It's
Hello?
I'm about to... Hello, Kitch, can you hear us okay now? No, you can't. He's gone again. So, Kitch is on an Xbox One, by the way, which might explain all the problems we're having with him. But yeah,
well,
like I say, go listen to Russell Blackford. He covers all this stuff really, really well. I was going to say I wish he was here, but I honestly don't inflict this on him. He's too nice a guy.
No, you just inflict this on me.
And most other conventional scientists believe that they themselves are biochemical robots with no souls and no free will. Then who do they believe wrote their books?
What?
Does not follow. That, do you know non sequitur?
Hang on, is he? Okay, I'm trying to dial the IQ down here so I can understand him. Did he actually say that if free will doesn't exist, then the guy who wrote the book didn't write the book?
Yeah.
Well, that's just silly.
That's beyond. I never thought of it. I never thought, even with all I've read of Mike Adams, that I would say even Ray Comfort wouldn't say anything as stupid as that. That is saying something now.
I mean, if I write a book, then I wrote that book. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Now, if free will exists or not is completely separate from whether I wrote the book or not.
Yeah. That's like saying...
And for the record, I never got this far into this.
Yeah, and that's like saying if we don't believe in free will, who is doing this show right now? If we don't believe in free will, who is in the chat room? That is essentially what he's on about.
Yeah.
It's...
Was Hawking's grand design book merely a spontaneous regurgitation of neurological ricochets cascading through his head without any intention behind them?
That was me facepalming, by the way.
Yep. And your birds have gone silent now as well, I hear, so even there. I think we're inflicting pain on Marty's poor dinosaurs with this.
And if so, then the book must, by definition, be a mindless account of physics. Or more precisely, in writing that human beings are biochemical robots, Hawking hasn't merely lost his mind, he never believed he had one to begin with.
What can... Oh. Is there anything you can say to that?
I have no words.
This...
What did I miss?
You lucky bastard. This is good. It's like I say, Kitch, what we're hearing right now, I can honestly say Ray Comfort wouldn't go to this level. He would not make
Jordan wouldn't.
I mean, oh, Jesus. I can't... Basically,
It's official.
Yeah, Kitch,
This guy is worse than Jordan.
And Ray...
What?
Ray Comfort and Kent Hovind. None of them would make an argument as dumb as what he's just made. Basically, Kitch, his
how long do we have left?
His argument is...
In the video.
Sorry?
Sorry, go on.
His argument is basically that if free will doesn't exist, like for Stephen Hawking, if he doesn't believe in free will, then who wrote Stephen Hawking's book?
And how long do we have left?
I don't know. Too long. No matter how.
45 minutes or something like that, right?
Oh no, we're not. That's a whole video. We're not.
Yeah.
We don't have that left.
And how long do we have left? And how long are we in?
I'll let you know after I play the next clip.